Cooking? I'm all hung up. I'm all discombobulated, yo. Discombobulated. I try to use a big word every now and again, like debacle. Uh, yeah. All right. Let's see if it's on here. Oh, stupid thing switched over. I don't know how to switch it back. Oh my gosh. It is a debacle. I mean, this thing switched over and now it won't let me switch back. How do you? How do you? How do you switch back to your doohickey? Well, I mean, where I've got two accounts, it came up. Uh, it always gives me the, you know, Jim Moore or the church account. Well, it switched to the church account, and there's no place to switch back. Well, yeah, that always works. No, we're still we're still right there on some kind of professional dashboard, and we can't switch back. Huh? Does it? Do we show online? Shows what? Oh, shows my head. Oh, is that all that's on there? Well, how do you? I mean, I have switched over. Do you know how to switch it back? Does anybody else know how to switch it back? Let's see. I mean, I don't have no idea. It's always gave me a. It's always give me a. Oh, switch profiles. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we're online now. Oh yeah. Boy, I don't know. We got a different camera setting. I mean, all it is from right here up. We're on Comedy Central. Yeah. I don't know. It was like 6 or 7. Yeah. Did that move it? Huh? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Hey. I mean, if I'm going to wear a clean shirt, I want it on camera. I mean, that's, yeah. Okay. Well, today, uh, we've been on this thing for a little while. I've got a way to go uh, about um, this whole series is like into the messiness. And what I want us to do again is um, I'm trying to stir our imagination. Okay. Um, and learn to question and learn to look at things different, things that are challenging, things that are uh, I don't know, maybe you got questions, but a lot of times um, were afraid to ask. I can remember one time, and I've told you this before, but a dear, sweet, sweet, sweet lady, Sister Vivian, her son had committed suicide. And, he was older, but, your son's your son. It doesn't matter if your son's 60, he's still your son. And, I mean, she's the mom, and she would cry and cry and cry. And she would say, well, I know we're not allowed to ask God any questions. And, kind of the thing like God needed another angel, all that. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. I don't know about you, but I would be outraged. I would be. Honestly, I'd be a little ticked at God. Why didn't you stop it? I mean, I'm just being honest. And the one thing that I have learned through my trials and tribulations is God is a lot tougher than what you think. He can handle it. He doesn't need me apologizing for him. He can handle the tough questions. Because you know what? You're going to get the tough questions, are you not? Do you not get tough questions? So, I mean, we were just talking here earlier, Dory, Neil, Morgan. I mean, all of these are tough questions. I mean, it's got to make you to think. Well, why in the world? I mean, do we blame God? Do we blame a doctor? I mean, what's going on here? What caused the tumor? Why did the doctor miss this? How? I mean, 1,000 questions going on. God, where you at in all of this stuff? Uh, Morgan, she's like, well, I'm going to get to come home. Well, I'm not going to get to come home. I mean, your hopes are high, your hopes are low, all of this stuff with Neil and Bev. It's frustrating. It's darkening. It's all of those things, and you got to say, well, man, what is going on? I don't know if you guys read Psalms every day, but I would advise you all to read the Psalms every day. Some of the Psalms every day, 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 every day. Just read them, and just start at Psalm 1 and go through 150 and start again. It doesn't really matter. Don't try to pick one to fit your needs. You can, but they're just so beneficial. And honestly, out of those 150s, I think everybody, no matter what, once you get familiar with those psalms, has a psalm on their heart. Whether it's a psalm of joy and victory, or the psalm of darkness and defeat, or the psalm of nothingness, or just all of that. So it is very, very important to read that. I used to always think that the whole Bible was about doctrine, trying to get your doctrine right. You'll see more so this next week. Well, here's a question I got for you. What is the right doctrine? I mean, my doctrine has changed so many ways. And I'm still learning. If you try to pin me down on something, good luck, because just as soon as I think I got something figured out, another wave hits, and here I am trying to learn that. And some people say, well, it's not about doctrine, it's about relationship. Well, how does relationship work? I struggle with it in a sense, because I think, God, it would be so much easier if you was visible. Here's the thing that we say a lot. See, our dispatchers used to be in Bluefield. Then they moved to Roanoke. Now they're in Atlanta where I work. And I know one of them because, we've been on the railroad for a long, long time. But half the people that get on there I've never heard of before. So I have this thing, Denise, I know you've heard the voice of the Lord before, and others have heard the voice of the Lord, but can you put a face with a name? You know what I mean? We have this thing, well, I've heard you, but now I can put a face with the name. Does that make sense, So when you meet somebody, I was like, oh, now I know who you are. And I think, God, it'd be nice to put a face with a name sometimes. But, I mean, here we are. And I know that face is Jesus. And I know Jesus doesn't look like what we think he would look like, nice and pretty and handsome and, brown hair and blue eyes, and he's very muscular and all that other stuff. According to scriptures, it says he was not very handsome, so he looked like me. But, as we go through these things, and I like the discussion parts of these. I really, really do. I like the questions. I like when Jeff has a question. Wait a minute, because that challenges us to see something different, to see something new, not just me preach a sermon and you get it. So here's a question I'm going to pose, and you guys feel free to chime in here. Give me some ideas and this will kind of carry over in maybe into next week a little bit. Give me some metaphors that you would use to describe Jesus. Some metaphors, Lion. I'm going to go with lion. He's a lion. And a lamb. Okay, he's a lion, he's a lamb. Gentle. I mean, give me a metaphor, like a rock, a strong tower, a bear, what? Cornerstone. Wind. Yeah. No, I mean, this is kind of personal, but healer. That's one, right? Healer. Teacher. What? A door. That's another one. That's another one. Joe? A shield. Yeah. Yeah, he's a shield. A warrior, a mighty warrior. Yeah. Savior. Yeah, we left that one out. Ought to be at the top of the list. Yeah. All of those things, right? Yeah, friend. All of those things. So if you had to go tell people on the street about Jesus, and you're using all of these metaphors, strong tower, mighty warrior, all of these other things. And then you ask Jesus, how would you describe yourself? And Jesus might say, well, I'm like a chicken. Now, I mean, is that not odd? How many saviors do you know that describe themselves as a chicken? Because, I know it's a mother hen, but what is a mother hen? A mother hen's a chicken. Yeah. Let me read here out of, I better get in Luke's Gospel. Luke's Gospel. Yeah. Logan asked me this morning, he said, Jim, what are you going to preach on today? I just said, I'm going to preach about the Lord being a chicken. Kind of looked at me funny. It's like, what in the world are you talking about? Yeah. Luke chapter 13, verse 31. At that very time, some Pharisees approached, saying to him, go away and leave this place, because Herod wants to kill you. And he said to them, go and tell that fox, behold, I'm casting out demons and performing healings today and tomorrow, and on the third day I reach my goal. Nevertheless, I must go on my journey today and tomorrow and the next day, for it cannot be that a prophet would perish outside Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who have been sent to her. Listen to that description. What is Jerusalem known for? I mean, the city of cities, the God's city, the capital city. But what's it known for? The city that kills its prophets. Think about that. The city that kills its prophets and stones those that have been sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together, just as a hen gathers her young under her wings, and you would not. You were unwilling. Behold, your house is left to you desolate. And I say to you, you will not see me until you say, blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Again, I ask you guys to kind of give me some metaphors of Jesus, and nobody picked a chicken. I mean, probably wasn't even thinking about a chicken. I mean, we're thinking strong tower. We're thinking all of these things. And again, you know, this whole premise here is about being vulnerable, the very thing we in the church want nothing to do with about being vulnerable, but it is the place we live in, whether we agree or not. That's the place we all live in because we're all vulnerable. You can get a call today, you got cancer, you got a tumor, you got high blood, you got this, you got that. I mean, you was healthy all your life, but you're vulnerable. We're all are vulnerable, but it seems like when we come into the church, it's like, well, you're not vulnerable anymore. Pooh. Paul, well, you know, we'll get there, but, you know, we get this picture of this blue-eyed shepherd holding a staff, strong, like I said, a lion. We get a bread and wine. We didn't use that one, but bread and wine on the table, a door, a gate, a light, a bridegroom, all of those images, but not a chicken. I mean, it wouldn't occur to any of us to draw a chicken. It's kind of amazing. I mean, we had a bunch of chickens, you know, growing up. I remember I had this one black chicken that Peanut and them gave me, and her name was Henrietta. And she's an old black chicken. And they would give her hormones to see if they could make them crow. This was back in the day, and they done with it, and so they gave her to us and brought her home. And I can remember, you know, in the summertime, you know, you just run around in shorts. And I remember I had her hold her up and felt something warm, thought she, you know, she laid an egg on me. She laid an egg right on me. Went down and busted on my foot. And I used to watch those chickens, and I'd watch them. Have you guys ever saw a mother hen chase a bug, a butterfly? I mean, it's comical. Have you ever watched them chase them? I mean, they're running and jumping and running and jumping. It is a comedy. And I'm just watching them, and I'm watching them scratch and look and scratch and look, and you know, the little noise they make. And I'm like, this is so funny. And Jesus uses that to describe himself. And like I said, if you ask anybody around in the church, give me some metaphor. Oh, he's a lion, he's tower, he's strong, tough. And you ask Jesus, he says, well, I'm like a chicken. I'm like an old mother hen. You know. How elegant is a chicken? I mean, you would think that the Son of Man, the Son of God, would use some elegancy here in describing. Why didn't he say, well, I'm like an eagle with her? He didn't say that. I'm like a chicken. I'm telling you, chickens ain't elegant. They're not elegant. They're noisy. They're funny. They're beady-eyed. Most of them couldn't fly to save their lives. I mean, they really can't. But now some of them could be fierce, but not very long. I had one rooster, an old Dominecker. He'd hit you sometimes you walk by. But you know what we did with him? We ate him. Yeah. You don't, ain't too many chickens going to flog you. I mean, because if you got a bunch of chickens, what are you going to do with them? William, you go eat them. You ain't going to stand for that. Boom. Cut his head off. He's in the pot. And Jesus uses that image. But there's some ferocity there. I know, when them chickens are sitting on their eggs and stuff, I hated to go check them because other chickens will get in the nest and lay eggs in there. And you got to get the other eggs out once they're setting. And I used to have them big old gloves I'd put on, stick my hand in there because they're pecking you to death. But there's also something defenseless, something vulnerable about these chickens, something very vulnerable. Remember last week we looked at that widowed prophet. Remember, she's giving to a system that Jesus just berated. She's given her last 2 mites to a system that's devouring her houses. The whole system was set up to take care of widows and orphans. And they're not taking care of the widows and the orphans. And you can remember the disciples are looking at the pomp and the beauty of the scribes and the Pharisees and the long roads and how pretty they prayed. And Jesus tries to get them to look at this little widow. They don't look. They look right past her to the grandeur of the temple and the buildings and all of the. And he says, not one stone will be left. Here again, Jesus uses these strange metaphors that Anna really, because we talk about a mother hen, okay, and her mother hen gathers her chickens, but I'm telling you what, how scared are you of a mother hen? You're not very scared of a mother hen? Honestly, in truth, if you're hungry, she ain't got much, does she? Oh, mother hen, she ain't got much. She makes a lot of noise. She might beat you with the wings, scratch you a little bit, but she ain't got much. So for me, if I had to draw a picture of Jesus, I wouldn't be drawing a chicken. And I don't know about you, but think about it. Jesus didn't say he's like a rooster. Here's Jesus giving us the picture of a mother hen. Does it ever strike you strange that he would do that? And have you ever paid any attention? I have watched chickens for a long, 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 long time. And that would be the last picture I would draw of all the animals, I guess, as Jesus being a chicken. Yeah, that's right. But here's the thing. Now, if Jesus wants to emphasize maternal power, mother power, or success in his choice of a metaphor, he's got a lot more impressive images. Could somebody read Hosea 13:8? And then while somebody's turning there, somebody give me Deuteronomy 32, verse 11. Hosea 13:8. Now think about this. Maternal strength, mom power. We'll start with Hosea 13:8. Okay, now what kind of bear is this? A bear bereaved of her whelps. That's a mama bear. Has anybody ever used the term mama bear? What does mama bear mean? We're hunters, right? Boars and all this stuff. But one thing you don't want to do is get between a mama and her cubs. Because what's going to happen? She's going to tear you to pieces. Why didn't Jesus use a mama bear? He chose the chicken. But you know what I mean? We got in the Bible, so we in the church, we're like, boy, God, it's like a mama bear, Denise. If you get between me and mine, he's going to wear. But he didn't do that. He could have, because the prophet used it. How about Deuteronomy? Deuteronomy 13, or Deuteronomy 35, or 32. Deuteronomy 32, 11 and 12.
As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings, so the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him.
Yeah. I mean, here, guys, in nature, these kind of birds like this, the guys don't sit on the nest. There is one kind of bird that they do, and I can't remember what it is. Probably a dodo. Probably a dodo. Yeah, but the rest of them, the females sit on the nest here. So the eagle stirring the nest, we're obviously talking about a female eagle, and the majestic, the majesty and all of this, and how they go. I mean, Jesus could have used that metaphor, but he didn't. He uses, I mean, if we was to think, if we put a chicken and an eagle together, what's going to happen? The eagle is going to kill the chicken and eat it. Yeah, I mean, that's what he's going to do. So why didn't Jesus pick an eagle to call a metaphor to himself? I mean, again, but look, he's putting himself into this vulnerable position. I mean, because the only thing I know of that might be scared of a chicken is a worm. Yeah. But I mean, what's the name that you call somebody that's scared? I mean, if Barney Five can make a movie about the ghost and Mr. Chicken, right? I mean, so everybody knows that fear is associated, vulnerability is associated with the chicken, and Jesus uses that terminology. He doesn't use the terminology that he used in Isaiah 42 as a laboring woman, or God as a mother of a happy or of a healthy, happy toddler in Psalm 131, or God as a skilled midwife in Psalm 22. Those aren't the images he uses. He chooses this mother hen. Luke invites us to contemplate Jesus as a mother hen, but not just a mother hen whose chicks don't want her. Though she stands there, he's given us the picture. She stands there with her wings open, and she's clucking and she's doing her things, offered them shelter, but they won't come. Her wings are empty. I can remember one time, I always wanted to raise ducks. Well, every time I got some ducks, they'd go down to the river and get aggravated. So I got me some duck eggs one time and put them under a chicken. Well, honestly, a chicken doesn't know if it's sitting on a duck egg or a chicken egg. It doesn't know, and it'll just raise them up. So this hen had 5 or 6 little chicks and 2 or 3 ducks. She had 2 or 3 little ducks. I'd got some mallard eggs. Well, you remember that I had a pond right there beside the barn. Well, so Mama is taking them out there and feeding them and stuff, and then one day them little ducks jumped out into the pond and took to swimming. What do you think Mama's doing? She's running all up and down the bank, clucking and hollering, like, oh my God, you crazy chickens, get out of the water. You're not a duck. And she's running up and down. Well, them little ducks is like, what are you talking about? It's kind of strange. Well, I mean, Jesus is putting himself in this position that his wings are open. The storm is coming, but you don't want me. I mean, imagine this. You don't want me. I mean, for me, it poses the question, because all of us in here, everybody in here, I know a lot of people say this, well, we got to get people saved. I believe that everybody in here is saved, okay? I believe we're being saved and we shall be saved. But the question that comes to my heart, and I hope it comes to your heart, I hope I can raise this, where in your lives is Jesus calling you, but you don't want him? And I know you're probably quickly going to bounce back at me with this kind of mindset. Oh, no, all doors are open to Jesus. And I challenge you to say, no, they're not. We got places in our life, all of us do, that we try to hide from him. And we don't want him because of shame and hurt and all kinds of reasons. And he's vulnerable. He doesn't take the mother hen approach or the she bear approach. He's vulnerable. And he's calling to all of us. I mean, hey, Sundays Jesus is welcome a whole lot more places than he is on Tuesday. But, all of these vulnerable things that we go through, the cancers, the tumors, the eyes, all of these bring us into vulnerable spots where in all of that, Jesus is the mother hen. All of that. And what does he say? But you were unwilling. You would not. And I know it makes it sound like, well, I'm putting the blame on these people. No, I'm saying all of us has places in our hearts and lives that we have not opened up. And again, could he kick the doors down? Well, he is the door, and sure, he can do whatever he wants. But that's, as you mentioned earlier, it's not his nature. He could tear the door off the hinges if he wanted to, grab you by the head, but it's not his nature. By my loving kindness have I drawn thee. Sure, he's got all power, but he puts himself into this vulnerable position, the position of being a mother hen. And he's clucking to us. And, here's these little ducks, and, I'm just thinking one thing about ducks is, one of their predators when they're little is a bass. But the mama duck, she'll kind of know and watch and keep them in shallow water, because you go out to the deep water, and big old bass right to he'll just come up, right? This mama hen. A mother in mourning. That's what he's telling us here. I mean, this mama, she's a mother in mourning, a mother struggling with failure and futility. I'm crying and crying and crying, and you would not. And earlier in the passage here, we get a group of Pharisees that warned Jesus to leave the area where he's teaching and healing, right? I mean, everybody gives the Pharisees a bad rap, but guys, all of us are scribes and Pharisees. All of us, we all got it in us. I'm telling you, we do. We do. But they come and tell Jesus, hey man, Jesus, if you stay here, Herod is going to kill you. And Jesus knows. He knows who Herod is. Herod is not a Roman. Herod is an Edomite. He's Esau's lineage. And he knows how dangerous he is. And he knows Herod is not somebody to mess with. Herod is the villain that orders John the Baptist to be thrown in jail and later beheaded. So this guy is very, very dangerous. Now, I don't know how much you think about this. But imagine you're teaching and you're healing, you're doing whatever. Let's just say you're having a church service, you're having a revival on the street, and then all of a sudden some guy comes over and the leader of the gangs of the whole area comes over and says, uh, Teddy, they're going to kill you. You have another church service here, they're going to kill you. And this ain't an idle threat, because you know what happened to the great John the Baptist. You know what happened to these other people. I mean, Herod was, he was, and imagine getting that. See, it's easy for us to think, well, Jesus got all power. I mean, that's what we would think. Well, Jesus got all power. He can just speak to the winds and the sea, and they obey him. We preach that all the time. He speaks, and yes, the wind and the sea obey him. But why doesn't he say in this story, what does he say? You tell that old fox, I'm not afraid. And I would think if he's calling him a fox, what do foxes love to eat? Right? I mean, the old saying is we got a fox in the hen house, right? It ain't going to bode well. But Jesus says, you go tell that old fox, I'm not afraid. And then he goes on to describe himself as the hen. Isn't the hen very vulnerable to the fox? I mean, what's the chicken going to do? Nothing. I mean, Jesus says, I'm not afraid. I got work to do today and tomorrow, and I'm not going to be deterred by this bully. And you see, that is a different approach to me than the way we see a whole lot of these things, because we think, okay, well, the Lord is going to give me all this strength, and we're waiting on all this strength to go do things. And as soon as I get the strength, I'm going to go do it. But yet Jesus does these things from a vulnerable position. It's just totally opposite of the way I've ever looked at Scripture before in my whole life. I'm thinking, because I can just win the Holy Spirit, I'll get the Holy Spirit, I'm going to have all of this strength. But yet we see all of this from a vulnerable place. I mean, I'll just throw this out there. You remember in Acts, silver and gold have I none. Let me tell you what, that's a pretty vulnerable place to be. I don't have nothing to offer you, Denise. I don't have a thing, not a dime to my name. Nothing. I'm going to try this. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. That took some being vulnerable, did it not? And I think that prayer maybe, and I don't know, I'm learning all these things. Maybe, how do we approach prayer? Do we approach it from a place of strength? Do we approach it from a place of being vulnerable? Because to me, if I'm really looking at it, prayer ought to always be about being vulnerable. Because if I didn't have, maybe if I had more strength, I wouldn't need to pray. I would just do it myself, but it's actually being plumb vulnerable.
Especially if you have like a prayer that I know you know what I'm talking about. I know probably everybody does. You get to the point where there's a prayer that you can't shake, and it's one that you literally want to walk up, and if it was a thing, you could pick it up and just do it. But there's some that are in you that you are so vulnerable that all you can do at some point is kind of plead. And
Yeah.
you don't have to plead with God. That's the odd part, and I know that when I'm doing it. You don't have to plead with him. But you do for some reason, because there's something sometimes you pray for that you want so bad that you do not know how to get it.
Yeah.
Rather than pleading.
Well, that's a good point there, because here's the question I got to ask. Because you say some things you want so bad, but you're pleading for it. But in this story, who's the one that's doing the praying that wants something so bad? Who? It's Jesus. He's the mother hen. So see, we're coming to him like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm coming to you like a mother hen. And I've put myself in a... See, I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, is like, we go to Jesus like, pray for this, pray, do this. And he's like, my God, I've been hollering for you. I've been running up and down the pond you're swimming in for 10 years and you won't listen. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So many times, we're like praying for all this stuff, but at the same time not realizing we have locked him out of most of the rooms of the house.
But what if, when you're praying, when I said something you want, what if it's for someone else? Okay, like healing for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times where I've like prayed and just, wanted to go on my face.
Yeah,
Another
yeah.
person.
Uh-huh.
That's what's hard. And
Yeah.
I thought of it, now
Well,
I will.
I would say this, since we're talking about chickens, you're going to open up a can of worms. This is a comedy barn. Yeah. 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 But, yeah, he said that he's also a worm. I'm a worm and no man, Psalm 22. But that's Psalm 22. That's a good point, Kathy, because this is, we gotta, we gotta be honest about the questions and be real. And we'll talk about this more on that side next week with the lesson I'm going to do next week. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But do y'all think that anybody's not praying for Neil and Bev? Of course. But we're still in the same place. Do I think anybody wasn't praying for Morgan and the baby? Of course, but still yet there's trouble. Dory, and you're like, my God, and William and Christy and all the things are praying, but yet you get the diagnosis and here it is. Do you not ever sit in your mind way down in the dark and say, God, what's going on? Have I not been faithful enough? Have I not read it? Why? What is happening? And honestly, I think when we can be honest with that, with those emotions, and with all of those things, and there's something deep in there that He's calling us to, that we miss out on. Things that are unexplainable, because they are. How many prayers have been said for your mom? My God. On and on and on and on and on and on, and yet still we battle. And, sometimes you want to throw your hands up. Well, in this scene, do we not see Jesus wanting to throw his hands up and finally saying, William, I've called, and you were unwilling. What am I going to do? Your house is left desolate. And you still don't get it. That's what he's saying. Your house is left desolate. So I'm hoping just even in this lesson that we could take a moment and say, my God, let us be still and know, or let us listen for the still small voice. Let us listen for the mother hen in parts of our lives that he's calling us, that we've turned a deaf ear to, that he wants to be a part. Not just in Sunday life or Wednesday life or whenever we have a vulnerable life, but in all parts of our life, because I promise you, we all, yeah.
Another thought is in our prayers, sometimes we don't understand. Even Jesus said concerning himself, he learned obedience through the things that he suffered. So I may need some suffering to make me obedient. So we have to be careful in that perspective. We might pray for somebody to be healed and everything, and when it was their purpose for them to be obedient.
Yeah, I think, that's a great point, because I got to ask you the question with this. And these are some of the things I think why I love having a conversation. Here's an old boy named Jacob, Isaac's son. And the scripture says after his little meeting with this strange man at the river Jabbok, he spent the rest of his life limping. But I got to ask, was Jacob healed in his limp? And I'm saying Jacob had more healing limping than he ever had before when he walked on two good legs. I'm saying he was more of a man of God limping than he ever was before. And see, we would have said, oh, Denise, we got to get this limp out. And the thing I'm saying to us is, we just got to be vulnerable, talk to the Lord, and know that we don't know, and there's bigger things going on, and God is doing bigger things than we could possibly imagine. And at the same time, this mother hen is calling us. He's calling us. There are Bible stories here, and I hope you guys will read this way. The man at the pool of Bethesda ticks me off. It makes me mad. Why? Because Jesus walks over a multitude of people to heal one guy. If I'm Jesus, I'm cleaning out everybody. Ain't you, Christy? I'm healing everybody. I want to healed. I'm healing them all. I'm speaking the word. I'm healing them. He don't do that. He walks over everybody, heals one dude. I wouldn't have wrote the story that way. That's me, Denise. I wouldn't have wrote the story that way. But it's there. I want to go to Jesus and say, why didn't you heal them all? And I'm not satisfied with the answer, well, I do what I see my Father do. Don't give me that. I want to know why. Well, I'm sure, and you see, we're left. Why, I mean, in my mind, like when Mom was there sick, again, I'm sitting there thinking, this would be a great time to heal her. This would be a great evangelistic tool. Everybody knows how sick she is. You raise her up, and boy, I mean, and everybody's going to say, look what God did, and this would be great, and you cut deals with God, but yet, it doesn't work that way.
But you just said, and wouldn't that be a good tool?
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
We don't know it. You see, the tool he uses is being vulnerable. And that's the tool that we don't even want in our house. I mean, we're guys. We want to lift weights. We want to be strong. If there's a problem at the house, we're going to fix it. Right? This is what we do. We're strong. It's in our nature. And Jesus takes on him the place of being a mother hen. He could have done it. I mean, we would have all agreed if he'd have said, I'm a she-bear and you just wait. Because how was he preached? You just wait till he gets back. By God, when he gets back, there's going to be blood up to the horses' throats and valleys filled with blood and heads cut off. And my God, I mean, I'm telling you, is that not a she-bear? Is that not a... But Jesus himself says, well, I'm like a chicken. I mean, what if they said, when I get back, I'm going to cluck and I'm going to scratch and I'm going to roll around and I'm going to holler and run up and down? And that's not very intimidating, is it? Oh, no, we don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that. We got a mother hen here. A mother hen who's vulnerable and a fox that he knows wants to kill the chicken. I mean, that's what we got. And here's this mother hen keening in grief, whining in grief. So again, it poses a question. What does this stunning image offer to us on our own faith journey? Because hopefully, faith isn't one of these things that you got it. It's a journey. It's a journey. Yeah, that's right. And so that's one of the questions, what does this image offer to our own faith journey? And here's a few things that strike me as I imagine a mother hen God. That's a tough one. And the first thing is to all of us, and you ladies know more about this than us guys do. I know that. I'm not even going to act like we don't. But the first thing, we're called to embrace being vulnerable. That's why a lot of people don't even go, especially guys, go to a doctor. because, my God, I mean, it's embarrassing something happened. I mean, I'm supposed to be invulnerable, impenetrable, strong, all this other. And women, you guys go to the doctor and you guys get checked out, and the things that they check on y'all, my God, it ain't happening for us. We ain't doing it. I'm just telling you, guys. I mean, it's the truth. Women have babies, and it's amazing to me when they run us out of the room. There's probably 7 people went in the room, guys, gals, and there's Morgan, all just, yeah, Chris is saying, yeah. Now, for us, William, that ain't happening. Mankind's going extinct. We're not doing that because we're not going to be vulnerable.
So it really is a tough one.
It's for us. It's, yeah. I mean, so that's what I say. You ladies know more about being vulnerable than we do. And yet Jesus, who is Son of God, not daughter of God, Son of God, makes himself vulnerable. You see, you can't preach this in the modern church because I don't want to be vulnerable. We want to be conquerors, not vulnerable. So it strikes me as, Jesus, why did you use this image? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, again, Paul, you're writing, what about more than conquerors? I mean, Paul writes that. But guys, if you will follow Paul through his progression and Peter through their progression, when I say their progression, they were learning. I mean, do you remember Paul's last mighty words? No, you guys don't remember his great speech? Bring me my coat. Bring the parchments. I fought a good fight. I run a good race. There's a crown laid up for me in heaven. He didn't talk about, hey, guys, get a prayer chain going, and the gates are going to bust open, and I'm going to be out of here, and I'm going to go spread the gospel. He had got to the point. I mean, early on, he's doing that. Let down by a basket, shipwreck, bit on, vipers and all this. But at the end, what is he? Oh, it's about laying your life down. It's about being vulnerable. I got one last desire. It's cold in this jail. Could you bring my coat? Right? You see the progression about being vulnerable. And the thing that strikes me in this image is that Jesus is calling us to be vulnerable. And so where I'm asking, this is what strikes me, is where in your lives is Jesus calling you to be vulnerable? And then he's saying, and you would not. I've heard people use this term, praying through. Guys, these are not terms that we were brought up on, so you just got to look over them. I'm not mocking these terms at all, okay? Praying through, praying, whatever. I'm not mocking these terms at all. But I guess I get the idea of what it means. I don't know. You guys can, But sometimes you just pray and pray and pray, and I guess you're not praying through because what you're praying for didn't happen the way that you was praying for. So does that mean you didn't get your breakthrough, or you didn't get your, or you were, whatever the case? But I'm saying, again, Jesus is inviting us to be vulnerable, which goes against the praying through. There's two, the being strong and being vulnerable is almost like two different things. It's not, because there is great strength in being vulnerable. But see, that's why we don't have much strength, is because we never want to be vulnerable. There are times when, what happens when people say things? What I mean is, what if you answer something and then everybody looks at you and laughs? I'm asking a Bible question. Joe answers the question, and we all go, Joe, you don't have a clue what we're talking about. We all laugh at Joe. Well, Joe's never going to do it again, because why? Joe made himself vulnerable, And we took advantage when he exposed himself as being vulnerable. And Joe from now on says, I'm never doing that again. I'm not doing that, right? So Jesus is asking us, all of us, to be vulnerable. But isn't that the most scary place to be? Because now I don't know. And I thought I knew, but now I don't know. So again, when I don't know, what's the only thing I got to rely on? There's one word. Faith. I mean, inside of that word, faith is trust. But Jesus is inviting us to trust him. And trusting him, he brings us into places that are so vulnerable. And I'm telling you, none of us want to go to those places where it's vulnerable. We just don't. It's not in our nature to do that.
Ananias' message to Paul was to go tell him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake.
Yeah.
That's being vulnerable.
Yeah, being vulnerable. But here's one thing, and I'd kind of forgotten about this. Here, we got all these babies coming on, Hannah's and Nevaeh's and Morgan's and Kayla's, and all these babies. And Brianna, I think she just had another one too. Just getting ready. Is she having a boy or girl? This is boy year, ain't it? This is boy year. Year of the boys. We're taking back over, by God. It's enough of y'all shenanigans. But new life always comes at great cost. Always comes at great cost. It costs, what did it cost you? Except a quart of wheat, fall into the ground and die, it abides alone. When a woman goes through childbirth, it's great cost. It's great pain. But out of being vulnerable comes new life. Now you can understand what the mother hen is doing. Man, there's new life. And without that, what's the end result? Your house is left desolate. If you're not going to come and be vulnerable, then your house is going to be left desolate. Honestly, guys, it ought to be a warning sign to us. Again, guys, I don't tell you these things like this is a go to heaven or hell when you die kind of thing. Jesus is talking to them people right now because this is how it was. He's saying, Kathy, if you don't do this, everything you have is going to be taken away. See, that's the thing you try to get through people's mind is for the last 400 years, the church focus has been out yonder, over yonder somewhere. And when you don't see things happen really quickly, and in other words, in our generation, then we think, oh, well, it's not going to happen. But God can look at things over 1,000 years, and he can say, if you don't do this now, 745 years later, you're going to have a group of human beings walking the face of the earth that are going to be so racist, so out in left field or whatever, that it's going to, so you can understand, and it's going to cause these other things to go on. Yeah, these chain reactions. But see, we might be here and we're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. That's why these prophets, they would go to the people, to Jeremiah, and they're like, hey, we got time. We got time. It doesn't really affect us. And it always does. So when you hear these alarming things, just imagine in your life, because I used to read it like, man, them people, them old Jews down there, I never even looked at it as me. Boy, they should have hearkened to Jesus. They should have known. And now I'm thinking in my life, where are the places that the mother hen is calling me to be vulnerable and you would not? And the danger of it is your house is left desolate. That ought to put us in prayer right away saying, oh Lord, where am I not hearing you? Where am I not paying attention? Get my attention. Get my attention. I'm over here clucking about these other things, and you are over here. So, you know, there's a verse, Paul would write in Colossians about filling up the suffering. I always wondered about that. I mean, do you realize that you've been invited into suffering? That's not preached much, is it? That's not preached much. Because it's always like, hey, join the church, and guess in our church, there's a no suffering clause. Sign here. Yeah. Sign me up, yeah. But, I mean, it's unreal, right? I mean, phew. Jesus mocks Herod by calling him a fox, but he knows he's dangerous. I'll say this. Jeff Arnold, y'all know Brother Jeff, he had some chickens down there. And I just call him on the phone. He's, when all this stuff's going on, we're going to get a few chickens, get about 4 eggs a day. Everything in the world killed his chickens. I mean, he's living down there in Johnson City, and daggone foxes come out of the woodwork. Didn't even know that they had foxes down there in Johnson City to come out and kill his chicken. So he gets the dog to keep the foxes away, and then the chicken hawks come in to kill the chicken. It's like, my God, they're from earth, land, and sea. Everything's killing the chickens. Yeah. I mean, you just know. I mean, weasels will kill them, rats kill them, coons will kill them. Everything will kill them. They'll get disease and die. I mean, they're just chickens. What Jesus offers is not the absence of danger. Not offering that. He knows the fox. But the fullness of his unguarded, open-hearted, holy, vulnerable self in the face of all that threatens and scares us. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. What he gives us is his own life, his own body, wings spread open, heart exposed, shade, warmth, shelter, right at the ready. And what he promises comes at great risk to himself. And he's offering this to those that even want to kill him. Where's he? I mean, he's heading to Jerusalem. What is Jerusalem known for? The ones who kills the prophets and stones those that are sent to her. And what's he offering? The very city. Protection. What kind of person is this? What kind of person offers protection and shelter to the ones who want to kill him? If Jesus doesn't amaze you, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So kind of a question. What would it take for us to embrace Jesus' vulnerability as our strength? We're invited into that. You remember Paul praying. Lord, take this thorn from my flesh. Oh, Lord, what's going on? But then his prayer gets answered. Remember the answer to his prayer? My grace is sufficient. Man, I don't like that answer. I really don't, guys. I'm being honest. You take the thorn away, fix the problem. No, my grace is sufficient. And Paul realized that in my weakness, in my vulnerability, his strength is made perfect. Paul says, therefore I rejoice in my infirmities. And what is Paul saying? I rejoice in my vulnerability. This is why it's so hard for us, guys, because we don't like to be vulnerable. And Paul says, I'm rejoicing in my being vulnerable.
No one ever moves like forward in strength unless they have to at some point be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Think of people in the hospital. They have to get down to being really weak before somebody else comes along
before somebody else is their strength. It's exactly what he told Peter. Right now you go about where you want to go, but one of these days there's going to be another that's going to lead and guide you about. You see, as long as I can get up myself, I don't need your strength. But if I can't get up, William and Jeff come and get aside me, now it's not my strength, it's their strength. So he's inviting us into a place of vulnerability to where it's his strength. And then what Paul says is, in my weakness, his strength is made perfect. It's seen, it's complete. And then I can do all things through Christ who what? Strengthens me. We just make that sound like, oh, I'm strong, but we forget about that strength only comes through your being vulnerable. As long as you can do it, it's not his strength. And that's
what keeps people continually praying too, because they really can't do anything. They don't like admitting that. I'm the first one to admit it. Nothing without.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you, Kathy, but I give God a lot of good advice. I think it's good advice. Honest to God, I mean, you know, I'm just wondering if God's sitting there like, I don't know what to do. Well, I got an idea. You should do this and you should do this. I do. I'm not going to go. I mean, it's hard for me, Teddy, to go to God and be vulnerable. It really is. I give him a lot of good ideas. You should heal Mom. You should heal Neil. You should heal Bev. And I mean, you should heal Christy and then Dory. And I mean, I got a whole list. You should do all of this. This would be a good idea. And we'll rejoice and we'll sing your favorite songs. And you know, I'm not listening for him. Yeah. I mean, honestly, to trade in our images of a conquering God for the mother hen of this gospel passage, it's tough. It's tough. But see, we're invited to do that. Maybe what we need most in this life is not a fox-like divinity who wields his power with this sly intelligence, sharp teeth, but a mother hen who calls to us with longing and desperation, her wings held patiently, bravely open, a mother hen who plants herself in the center of her children's terror and offers refuge there, right at ground zero, where the feathers fly and where the blood is shed. Right there offers that shelter. And I've watched mother hens when gather chicks when a predator's around. The way they swell up, I mean, they just puff all them feathers out. They got indignation, they got fear, they got courage. They'll stand their ground. They're prepared to die for their chicks. They will. They'll just die. So honestly, when I think about these things, I can't imagine a more profound or radical picture of God being a mother hen. And the next thing we're called to do in this story, we're called to lamentation, lamenting. It's something, that, again, that we don't know anything about. But I will say this, you don't have to be a parent to mourn missed opportunities. I'm just thinking, Morgan, she was so upset this morning, and I know she was on the verge of crying, and she's wanting to come home, she's wanting to bring the baby home, and it's just not happening. It's just not happening fast enough. And, a lot of people in life, they get married to the wrong person. Why? Because I've got an image of what life's supposed to be. White house, picket fence, or white picket fence, all of this other stuff. So I meet some bummy dude, and we go get married. And because I got to hurry on, I've got these images of what life's supposed to be. And, we ain't got time for the journey. We just want it at the house. And, and I can just I can feel Morgan's impatience because you know what she's wanting. We got to get the baby home. We got to start a life. I mean, they got to get the baby to show everybody the baby, and I can start dressing the baby, and this is going to, all this, and it's just like, no, wait. We got to have the baby here. We got to put him under the light a little longer. Well, we're coming home tomorrow. Well, no, you can't come home tomorrow. He's got to do this. He's got to be able to breathe. It's like, I want to hurry and get home. And so at all of those times, we think we're missing all these opportunities. Oh, I'm just missing out. I got to hurry. I got to hurry. I got to hurry. So that's right. We're missing the opportunity to come and be joined. And when I say lamentation, missed opportunities, broken promises, crushed hopes. I don't know anybody in here that when you was a little kid and somebody asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up, would have picked the profession maybe that you're doing now. Did you? You're a unicorn. Yeah. Uh-huh.
They pay me a nickel. Just sit there, my aunts and cousins, they would just sit there and let me brush.
Wow. That doesn't happen very often.
No.
Yeah. But, again, in this lamenting, who in here doesn't know what it's like to feel rejected? To know the pain of watching somebody that you love self-destruct. And I think everybody knows the pain of unreturned love, unmet desire, unfulfilled dreams. Here Jesus grieves for his lost, wandering children, for the little ones that won't come home, for the city that won't welcome its own Savior. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Who's the Savior of Jerusalem? Jesus. And what does he say? My God, you've killed all the prophets. God has sent you all the prophets. You killed them all. You stoned those God gave you this city. God loves this city. And what did you do? And yet here I am again. And here he is lamenting. Can you just see the lamentation in Jesus for the endangered multitudes he's crying out to who refuse to be gathered? And again, see, all of this is kind of taken away from in this heaven and hell kind of thing, because it's like, well, no, I got saved. I got baptized in 1914 and I'm going to heaven, so who cares? And Jesus is saying, man, this is wrecking your family. This is wrecking your family. And you will have no family if you don't change this right here. I know people don't think about it this way. People don't, but I'm bringing things back on the real side. There are whole names of people that have been wiped out. And what do you mean by names? William is a Sparks, okay? William has got a big family, so there's others to carry on the Sparks name. But let's just say, for instance, that William just has all daughters. What happens to the Sparks name? It's gone. His thing is gone. So, and I know you don't think nothing of this, but in the scriptures it was huge to have a male child to carry on the name. And what did Moses say? Blot my name out. So it was huge. So whole families can be blotted out. Now, if you understand what that's talking about, he's not talking about heaven and hell here. So it got nothing to do with that. But that's the way these things are, right? His is the helpless lamentation of yearning. How often I would have gathered you. Is that not desire? How often it is called, and I've called, and I've called. It's a lamentation for all that could have been in this broken, resistant, clueless world. It's a lamentation for the real limits we live with as human beings, the lasting wounds that we carry, the lifelong losses. Sometimes, like Jesus, the mother hen, we can't do what we most desire to do. We can't give what we deeply long to give. We can't save the loved ones that we ache to save. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I wished I had a whole lot more money. Because I would think money would solve a lot of problems, because I got family that's just broke. And you need to fix things, Joe, but I ain't got it. And I long to have it. And I say, my God, I can say silver and gold have I none, and that's true. But we're coming up on a season where we long to give. And we long to give. And I bet everybody in here would long to give more and more and more. But you know what? You just ain't got it. You'd like to have more time to give. More money, everything, but you just ain't got it, and it breaks your heart. I wished I could do more. If you ever thought I wish there was three of me? One could go to work, one could do this, and one could go here.
But if you could give more, there's some you're not supposed to. Because if you're making everybody's life easier, some of them are not meant to be put in that position when we take it upon ourselves just to give, because that's what we want.
Well, I understand your point there, but still yet I lament over it. I think everybody in here with children, if you had it more to give, you'd give more. You'd Christmas time coming up, you'd buy more gifts, and you'd do more and more and more, probably to the spoiling them, but we just don't have it. So we lament those things. So it kind of brings us to the question, how might you be called to lamentation in the time and place you occupy? What are you called to lament over? And I guarantee you, again, that's why each one of us, you read the Psalms, has got a different psalm on your heart, because you're called to lament over different things. But you've all been called into a lamentation of some point. And again, he's calling us, but what are you called to lament over? See, these are the things, Paul would say, hey, wake up unto righteousness. So the whole church in this Sabbath, we go to heaven when we die. And we don't even know what you're called to lament for. Right here in our own Tazewell, Russell County, what are you called to lament over? Who are you called to lament over? See, we don't know. We don't care. Hey, got my ticket. What do you long for that eludes you? What missed chances, failed efforts, broken dreams tug at your heart and call you in the morning? Those go-backers. And then the question, how might the church lament with Jesus over our homes, over our cities, over our countries, over our planet? I was telling Dad yesterday, I learned this the other day. Used to in the Clinch River, we had water dogs. I don't know if you know what a water dog is. You can look it up. I think they're called Grampus. They look like a big old ugly lizard. They used to be all in there. We'd think, get them out of the rivers. They're eating all of our fish. Well, you won't find them in the Clinch River anymore. Come to find out, they are very sensitive to dirty water. And when the water's dirty, they die off. Well, they've extinct out of the Clinch River, but they have found some in the New River. So they were talking about all their efforts to get the water back pure. So you think, do you even lament the Clinch River? I was talking to Uncle Herschel yesterday. He said some guy, the way they did the trash dump and all that other stuff, he said, I wouldn't eat a fish out of the Clinch River for all the money in the world. All the stuff they dump in there. Do you lament over it, or do you say, who cares? To me, when I love the beauty of nature, when I ride down the road or go across and I see washing machines stowed over the hill, I lament. This is not the beauty that God called this planet to be. Do you lament over your town and city and you think, well, I'm not called for that? Well, maybe you are. Because do we still have homeless here in Tazewell and Richlands? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Do we still have drug addicts and alcoholics? Yes, we do. Do we have broken homes? Yes, we do. All of those things we're called to lament. Honestly, guys, we are. We can't turn a deaf ear to those things. Jesus is inviting us into that. And thirdly, we are called to return. You remember his indicting statement? And you would not. You were unwilling. You would not. Jesus tells his wandering children, you wouldn't come back. You wouldn't relinquish your right to your own self, not even if your life depended on it. You think you got a right to yourself, and you won't give that up. He can take it, but he don't. But if you don't give it up, if you don't, in Revelation, they lay their crowns down at his feet. That's relinquishing, giving it up. But everybody wants to be king in their own life. And until you throw that crown down at his. So this image of chicks gathering, snuggling under mother's wings is an image of gathering. It's an image of community. It's an image of intentional oneness. And it requires a return. It requires a surrender. And it requires a refusal to self-isolate. So again, I ask this question: in what ways are we unwilling to be gathered by God? Where and how have we chosen to go it alone? And as we close out here, loving a vulnerable mother hen is the riskiest thing some of us can imagine doing. It's risky. Again, we'd prefer the lion. We'd prefer the mad she-bear. And yet our yearning, longing mother hen is the mother that we belong to. We belong to her. She's the one that's weeping for us, calling us to come home. Her body and her heart are on the line, and yet her desire is fixed on us. And she will not fold her wings and go away. She won't leave us to die without sanctuary. So you can get ready. May the desire of Jesus become our desire. And may the way of the mother hen, the way of vulnerability, sorrow, hope, and eternal welcome guide us home.